Y'all all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What the white man wanted to do to us as black men is deprive us of the two things that they don't want us to have: power and dominion. Why? Because if they're in power, you can't have power. If they are to rule, they don't want you to rule. So the white man makes sure you never come into too much power to exercise any rule, because this is the white man's world and the white man's house, and everybody black in it must serve him. Well, then if he castrates you, how do you look in the eyes of your female? Just look at it, brothers. When you marry the female, she's looking for certain characteristics in the male. She wants to see power in him. She wants to see strength. She wants to see the ability and the wisdom to rule, because her nature is to submit to you if you can show her that she should. If you can't show her, ooh, bro. She's like that stallion that had never been broken in, and somebody trying to put a saddle on it. Trouble, brother. Trouble. Well, now, on the male side, we don't have power, dominion, and the white man made sure we don't have too much strong male image. So we're already handicapped. We come to the table deprived. Suppose then mother wanted a girl. Now the feminine side of our nature is accentuated. Then you want to dance, or you want to go into music, or you want to be an artist. Artistic nature calls for the beauty side of the characteristics of God, still minus the power side. So the more you keep feeding the feminine side of the man, you're beginning to make an effeminate. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, he's not a female, but he's tender, soft, sweet, but not homosexual. Some older person sees these soft qualities, beauty, you know, handsome, nicely formed, and they tap you out. What's this? After a while, if the male side of you rejects the advances, then they stop. If you're a child, you can't reject. They overpower you and put you in a circumstance now that has you going in life toward homosexuality. When you lack the strength of character of a male, every time you relate to the female, you have a bad relation. Because to relate to a woman, you got to come with something in order to keep a woman. So if you got a bad relationship with a woman, you really want to be a man, but the relationship sours. And at that moment of vulnerability, somebody taps you out again. And before you know it, you're into a conduct that is abominable in the sight of God. And when you get into the nation of Islam, where sex before marriage is forbidden, then you got to discipline yourself. And if you are not disciplining yourself, then, and you still got a sexual appetite, and in a world like this, they're constantly feeding the sex drive. Come on over to my house, man. You know, it's innocent. You know, we're going to sell papers tomorrow. Well, come on over, you know. It's getting late. Oh, man, just call your parents and say you're staying over here tonight. We're bunking up. It happens on the female side. Women can cover lesbianism much better than men, because in our culture, brother, we don't run up, I mean, in the Nation of Islam culture, you hug each other. And if you hug your brother and get a rise, check yourself. But the sisters are always, oh, Assalamu alaikum. Oh, so good to see you. But when they got some funny stuff behind that, Assalamu alaikum, baby. When they got some funny stuff behind it, you say, oh, what is this? You know what I mean? See, God make you know that something ain't right there. Well, when he make you to know that, then you check this.
Yes, sir. Come on. Yes, sir.
Because you turn a lesbian loose in a class of women that ain't supposed to be having sex. Yeah. And that's like turning a rabbit loose in a briar patch. Or a sissy loose in there for a while. I'm in paradise. I remember there was a young man that became a Muslim when I first got my ex. And he was, you know, he loved Malcolm, but he loved him in a strange kind of way. And I never will forget the night he got his ex. And when he got his ex, you know, you're supposed to stand up and say something before the FOI. You know how you all say something before the MGT. And the first words that came out of his mouth, he said, I've never been hugged by so many handsome men in all my life. He was happy that night. He didn't last too long. He loved marching behind the brothers. No, I'll stay in the rear. Hot, hot, hot. But really, while we laugh, you know, it's because the subject is so heavy. It's good to laugh a little, because we may cry a lot before it's over with. Brothers, sisters, there are women with male tendencies, you know, hard women. They like to give orders. Fall in! And they got that hard look, you know what I mean? And they can't help it. They've been programmed. Ain't no such thing as a, oh, there's a woman trapped inside my body trying to get out. Somebody put a hole in you, see what come out. Ain't no woman coming out of there, buddy. Or no man coming out of there. It's your life coming out of there. Satan got a crazy world that God wants to correct and straighten out. Do you know that the prophet is called in the Bible a female? He's styled as a woman. That don't mean he's a homosexual. But why is the prophet of God styled as a woman? Because you cannot transform human life without the nurturing feminine qualities in the nature of God. So the messenger has to be forbearing, long-suffering, patient, full of love. Love is kind. It's not puffed up. It vaunt not itself. That's the side of the woman. When you get the right kind of reformer, he's got all those qualities in him, and that's what makes him able to take pain, because a mother's suffering is like no other person's suffering. I'm coming back to something. My mother wanted a girl. She didn't want no boy. She had a boy. So she leaned me in the direction of the development of the feminine side of the nature of God. It's always good to use yourself as an example.
Teach, brother minister.
Now don't go too far. You stay with me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't want you to jump out in front of me and say, oh, what? What do you mean? Just stick with me and I'll tell you what I mean.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I got to straighten that out real quick.
Yes, sir.
I seen some minds, drifting. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
My mother, bless her heart, gave me music when I was 5 years old. The music accentuated the aesthetic nature in a man, but leaned him to the feminine side of the nature of God. God got both characteristics. Look at his attributes. He's beneficent. That's the prime attribute. He's merciful. He's the oft-returning to mercy, the forgiving. He's the giver of life, and he's Rabbil Alameen. He nurtures life to make it attain stage after stage. These are feminine qualities. But he's also the mighty, the strong, the powerful, the avenger, the destroyer. You understand? The provider. So that's the male side and the female side of God. When my mother gave me music, that accentuated the leaning toward the feminine aspect of my nature or God's nature. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I was a very beautiful, if I may say that, young man. Men like me and women like me. It's true. When I was in show business, the sissies would come. He's so fine. It's true. And the women would come, old and young. Ooh, Lord. Well, when God makes a man like that, the question is, how are you going to use him? When I came to Islam, all of a sudden the power side was added to that overbalance of the feminine side of the nature of God. the power side of God needs to be balanced by the female. And this is what's wrong with this world when you kick a woman out of government. You kick her out of the role of being a balance for the power side in the nature of man. Am I making myself clear? See, homosexuality needs to be dissected and scientifically looked at. Because if we're going to heal our people from this disease, we got to understand the disease. I don't want to go too far. I'll just leave that alone and just say this to you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, seeing the musical side of me, said, well, you remind me of David. Now, if you look at David in the Bible, he was a ruddy complexioned boy, handsome, but exceedingly strong. He was a shepherd boy, but God had anointed him to become king over Israel, but he was the chief musician of the Lord. Isn't that something? Well, now, why would God make him a king and he's a chief musician? He's a shepherd boy and he's got extraordinary strength. Why would God make him king, anoint him to be king? Because Israel was under a wicked king, Saul, and Israel had been deviating so much. Israel needed a king with the strength of God, but with the compassion of a nurturer, so that the people could be transformed and nurtured from their wayward life into a life of submission to God. And as I look in my life, how I relate to you, there's strength in me for every man. And there's compassion in me for every male. Why? Because my duty is to transform human life. And I cannot be a brute. I have to be compassionate and merciful in order to see you come from where you are to where you got to go. But on the other side of that, for the female, God has given me the power side and the rule and dominion side, but he's also given me characteristics that make me to know a woman. And sometimes I know her as well, if not better, than she knows herself. So God has put me and fixed me to raise both sides while being a man at all times.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
And I want to say to all of you, there is a way out. Never, ever, ever think to take your life, because there's a way out of every problem.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Please, I'm at the end now. Just follow me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There are times when the heaviness of this mission has gotten so on me, I've wanted to die just to get out. I have to admit the truth, because I want to use my frailties to help you to face yours. I literally wanted to die. Isn't that selfish? I got a mission. So many people leaning on me, looking to me, and the burden gets so heavy, I want to die. That's selfish. I didn't think of my wife. I didn't think of my children. I didn't think of my grandchildren. I only thought of the pain of working with you and being hated and opposed. And sometimes it gets so unbearable, I want to get out of it. And then when I think on it again, I'm ashamed of myself. And I turn to Allah. And believe me, I'm not a perfect man. You understand? Yes, I'm not a perfect man, but I am not removed from God.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
You're not perfect. And I don't care what wrong you have committed. You should never make the law a curse to you, that it keeps reminding you of how low down you have become. And you keep getting further and further away from God, that you can't pray, you can't seek him out. Why do you get like that? Because you are not acquainted with the purpose of his coming. If God wanted to condemn us for our sins, he'd kill every last one of us along with the Caucasian and be done with it. He didn't come here for that. Do you think that Allah didn't know that we had all these problems? Allah knew it. And in spite of that, he came. What did he come for? To say, you no good, dirty sinner. That's not Allah. And this is what's wrong with the way the Christians represent Christ. You born again, you don't commit sin, you trying to not smoke, not drink, but the moment somebody does commit something, you don't remind them that Christ came to forgive sins. You understand? That is what brings you closer and not drive you away. But if somebody's going to tell you, oh man, you going to get punished. Yeah, you get punished if you offend the law. But even in the punishment, look at the mercy. Don't you know in the Holy Land, brother, if you are caught in homosexual behavior, do you know what they do to you? Let me just tell you. I don't want to leave nothing to no guesswork. In some places, they take you up in an airplane and push you out. In other places, they chop your head off. They don't play with homosexuality in the holy world. If they find you in it, they kill you. The punishment is death. Did you know that? In the law written in the Torah, if a woman is found in men's clothing, they stone her to death. If a male is found wearing female clothing, they stone him to death. If they catch you having sex with the young girl that you're not married to, the punishment on both is to be stoned to death. If they catch you having sex with somebody that's not your husband or your wife, the partners get killed. That's the law. Well, you know what the law does? It don't give you a chance to get remote from God in the head. They remove you from life. You really remote. Away with you. Now, for Master Farad Muhammad to give us time out for our sin, that's mercy, man. He's letting you know how much he loves you. He said, look, here's take 90 days and think about your evil and get yourself together and come back. He didn't kill you. He put you out. If it's 1 year, for adultery or fornication or homosexual behavior. 1 year. That ain't death. He's telling you, I love you, man. I know you're wrong, but I want to bring you home. I don't want to kill you. I want to show you that you're wrong. I want to help you get yourself together. But I'm the God of mercy. I came to forgive sins altogether. Are you listening to me? There is no sin that you could commit that Allah would not forgive you for. Now just think about that. How many sins have we all committed? Well, let's not even get into naming them. We'll be here till Judgment Day. The point is, Allah came to forgive you, man. So don't let law, in reminding you of your evil, or my evil, or our evil, make us to feel remote from God. I have never felt removed from God. Never. I always feel He's there. And that's where I close on. When you were sperm in the womb of your mother did not know that she had conceived you. And your mother did not form you and give you a firm resting place in her womb. That was done by another power. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Who formed you in the womb? And when you were just sperm mixed with ovum and became a cell of life, who gave you a firm resting place in the womb? Come on. Allah. Who formed you into a clot? Allah. Who formed you into an embryo? Allah. Who evolved you into a fetus? Allah. Who brought you forth from your mother's womb at the appointed time? Allah. Who put milk in your mother's breast for you? Allah. Who gave your mother the nature to hear your cry in the night and answer that cry and change your diapers? Huh? Who put the food in the earth that when you got hungry, you could go to the earth and get food to strengthen your body so that you could grow to full maturity? Was it your mother? Was it your father? Was it your minister? Or was it Allah? Allah. Oh, really? Yes, sir. Oh, really? Yes, sir. Uh-huh. You get up in the morning by the grace of God and you look out and you see the sun. Mama didn't put it there. Daddy didn't put it there. Allah put it there. It warms you. It turns the planet on which you live. The sun passes out into the night and the night covers us and gives us rest and sleep. Mommy didn't do that. Daddy didn't do that. Allah did that. You study His creation and you learn physics, chemistry, biology, zoology, navigation, aviation, engineering. You learn history, geometry, geography. All of it you learn. All of it is Allah. Go ahead. So now you mean to tell me you're going to get in a little trouble and you don't know how to reach the God who gave you a firm resting place when you were nothing but sperm mixed with ovum, and now you feel that that same God can't give you a firm resting place when you're in trouble? Shame on you. I don't care how hard this white man get on me. I have never felt that I was outside of a firm resting place.
Go ahead.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil because my Allah is with me.
Yes, sir.
I put my trust in Him.
Yes, sir.
I thank Allah for my security and all that is around me, but I'll be if I'm going to put my trust in the security. I put my trust in Allah. And when I'm in trouble, I don't call on my security, I call on Allah. And if the enemy comes against me and there is no security, I know that Allah is God and Allah will always be there. So, believer, are you a believer? Are you a disbeliever? Or are you a hypocrite? See, the more you go into hypocrisy, the more remote you get from God. You can't call on Him.
That's right.
But when you learn how to put your trust in Allah, there is no problem you got that you ever need to contemplate taking your life. So from this day forward, you think about it. God gave us Aaron as an example to study and to learn from his life as well as from his death. And if you will study and thank Allah for his life, and thank Allah for the time that he spent among us, for the good that he brought to us, but say, "Oh Allah, when my time of trial comes, please help me to stay in my right mind." Aaron was overwhelmed, and in that moment he was not in his what? He was not in his right mind. If he were in his right mind, whatever the problem was, he would face it, knowing that Allah came to deliver him from sin. Look at the scripture. And his name shall be called Jesus, and he will save his people from their sins. So from this day forward, know that your sins and mine are hurtful, yes, but know that the Quran says Allah forgives sin altogether. And he's not going to remind you of what you did. He came to forgive us for what we did if we repent and never go back to that conduct again. That's the pledge that you make tonight when you leave. You talk to your God. You don't have to tell him what he already knows. But if you want to really get straight, you got to openly confess your sins. Because they're like knots in your brain. And the moment you confess it, it's like untying a knot. You're cleaning your head out so you can function again like you ought to function.
Yes, that's right, sir. Yes, sir.
Clean it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Clear it out. Go talk. Go have a talk with God. He's waiting for you.
That's right.
And I'm warning you. Don't play with Islam. It's better that you leave this alone than play with it.
Yes, sir.
Do you think now you understand a little better? If a problem arises in your life now, do you think you'll want to check out of here and throw away the greatest of all gifts? No. Or would you seek refuge in Allah and overcome whatever your weakness or your problem is? Will you do that? Yes, sir. To my sister, Celestina, and my brother, Salim, yes, sir. Faithful friends, companions, and believers that have been with me for nearly 20 years. In fact, they're working for me and my wife for the last 19 years, but we've known each other. I've known Sister Celestine since she was a teenager, which was just a few years ago. In New York City, she was in my teenage class. And I wasn't a teenager. I was teaching the teenagers, and she was in that class. I saw her son Amir when she brought him home from the hospital. That's right. Aaron, Amira, and Anicia. I did not know Anicia when she was born, nor Amira, but I knew Aaron and Amir. They have always been a faithful family to the cause. Nothing was more important to them than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the mission. And I think that all of us should continue to keep this family in our prayers. That Allah will strengthen Sister Celestina and Brother Salim, strengthen Amir and Amira and Anicia, and that the task force will be strengthened. That you not fall into trial now after our brother. Be angry with Allah because Allah permitted his death. But if it were not for Allah, you would never have had him in the first place. So Job said, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So lift up your heads, dear Muslims, and gather strength. I saw my son, Abner, standing by the coffin of Aaron. And as I looked in my son's eyes, there was a spirit of determination that I had not seen before. Aaron and my son went to South Carolina State together. Aaron, my son, got in and Aaron, I think we had to petition the school to let Aaron in, and they did. Aaron turned out to be greater in representation of the truth than my son. They were written up in the newspapers. And Aaron went on to touch the lives of politicians, teachers, educators, common people, everybody that he knew or that knew him loved him. He was about to become student government president on that college campus. I don't think there's another person on the campus that was more beloved. And he, Aaron, started the Nation of Islam Student Association on that campus and on campuses throughout America. He did that. He did that. So the students from South Carolina State that are here, would you stand, please? They pledged to me today that they're going back and they're going to continue the work that Aaron started with even more determination to make the work that he started great. Where are the brothers from South Carolina State? Raise your hand, because they may think that only sisters came. Raise them up high, brothers. Come forward, brothers. Would you come forward? Come forward, sisters. Come out here, brothers. Now, Brother Aaron's work is on several campuses. And what I'm hoping is that work will continue unabated. And instead of being weakened by what happened to Aaron, that they will be strengthened. To the believers, we've taken some strong blows in 1992 and 3. What is Allah getting you ready for? Sister Tanisha, would you stand, please? This is a young lady that Brother Aaron would have married had he lived. And we want her to know from myself and my wife and family that even though the circumstances are tragic, you know, life didn't end for Jesus at the cross. It began there. And life is not ending for us at this tragedy. I think this tragedy has brought us to a new beginning. May Allah bless you. And among Aaron's family, both his personal family and his extended family, you have a home. Thank you. Anybody have any questions you'd like to ask? Before you send this tape out, is a word or two. It might need to be bleeped. It is okay. But people may not understand. I'm just upset. And I can't do nothing about bringing my brother back. So sometimes the only thing I could